What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Killing Eve final episode breakdown and review. Now, I did think that there was actually 2 episodes because the promo said that last week, but here we are with the final episode. I did cover episode 7 last week on my channel, so you can go and check that out. And the finale is, well, something else. I scrolled through Reddit after watching the episode, and boy, I have not seen a finale this hated since the Game of Thrones finale. And, well, I will admit that I did actually like the last kind of couple of minutes of the episode, but I think that you needed to have a whole season of Villanelle and Eve doing what they did in this episode. So much of the time was wasted with Helene, it was wasted with Pam, and we have also had no story on really who the 12 are. We had the whole kind of blue-balled moment of hoping to find out that maybe Carolyn helped create the 12 and that it was her friend and she had to go against her friends from the past. But no, it was simply a hallway scene we got similar to that of Daredevil, the Daredevil Marvel Netflix shows, which that was a beautiful scene if the season had been better. Now, we find Eve having escaped Gunn, and it's hilarious seeing Eve climb the tree. I like how Eve can handle herself now and doesn't need to be saved by Villanelle. But Eve goes against Gunn, and Jodie Comer's expressions here are just too good, and the pair finally meet up, and Eve knows where the 12 is, but Villanelle needs to help decode it. I loved how Eve says, "You want this as much as I do." Eve saying this into about taking down the 12, but Villanelle wants them to be together. She's gone on her journey this season, her spiritual journey, and it was haunting seeing Gunn with her eyes gouged out, screaming Villanelle, and Eve is indeed an amateur, but she's come a long, long way. Now, the pair argue as they leave the island and find a pair of hikers, and my god, are one of those hikers just to run as Carolyn is met by the douchebag as she's in London to take out the 12. Everyone's favourite ship are stuck on an isolated mountain cabin, and I love how they just chill drinking a hot drink and tell the true story, and it's sickeningly sweet about how they shared a kidney or swapped a kidney or whatever they do, whatever the proper term is. But we know what happens to hikers and campers when Villanelle is about, but luckily they were not killed, they just exist in their sickeningly sweet world. Carolyn is at a safe house with the D-bag. It's time for him to judge her, as he says she loves the unsavoury moments, which I really do think she does. I think she loves the absolute dirty, grim work of being an MI6 agent. But she finally tells him how his new girlfriend is a Russian agent, which was hinted at earlier in the season, which is hilarious as she suggested that he is ripe for a honey trap. We get a very interesting moment where Villanelle's tarot is red, and it's scarily accurate with chaos, unresolved love, but she's given a holy blessing at the end of her path, which we saw at the end. Her blood did form 2 wings. She was the angel of death, I guess, here. And Caroline is given a clue to come to Hampstead Heath, and I love how the D-bag is clearly taking care of his honey trap girlfriend, and, well, Caroline is heading off as our lovers share a sleeping bag. It's weird how Villanelle caresses Eve's scar, and they steal the camper van, and they steal the revels. Yes, that couple there at the cabin are clearly a revels couple, which, if you don't know, if you're not from the UK, they're the worst sweets imaginable. They're just crap. I just think, what is the point of them? As Villanelle steals someone's phone charger, which was pretty funny, and one of the weirdest truck stops ever, as we cut to Pam, who has gone on her mission to inform Caroline about Constantine, and the actress who plays Caroline was really good here, as she looked absolutely visibly broken here, as Eve works out that the meeting is at the 12, is at the pub by MI6, which explains why Caroline said last week they wouldn't be so brazen, and she herself goes into the pond at Hampstead Heath, which looks similar to the place her and Constantine thought that they had killed Lars. And we finally get the affection as Eve and Villanelle kiss, and they get into the camper van as Carolyn arrives at this Barn and Swallow pub as Villanelle turns up. And I loved how Villanelle have that friendship, which made that ending scene a lot harder. But, well, it turns out that, well, yep, it is a change of scenery for the 12 as they head to a boat on the Thames. Now, Carolyn needs to go back to MI6 with something, and she sent Villanelle and Eve to do her work for her. But as we know, Villanelle was the thing that she was giving over. And, well, Pam refuses a job with MI6 because she doesn't want to be controlled anymore. Carolyn, like her brother and Helene, is just another controller. And we head into the Dixie Queen. We have Eve having to awkwardly officiate a wedding as Eve kills all of the cooks, and the security guard who was hiding the secret passage to the 12. It's interesting that Eve does let herself go, while Villanelle also lets herself go. They both embrace who they really are as they head down and kill the 12 and dance. But they're shot. This is a shocking moment. I would say it was shocking, but it's not really a surprise that one of these would actually be killed. It's a curious one, and, well, we had the tarot foreshadowing what was going to happen at the end, and the death in her life was actually Eve. Everyone that she has cared for has died. Personally, I don't know how this would have ended without either of them dying. I think that this would have was always going to happen. I did always predict that they would die. I didn't see a happy ending on the horizon for, sadly, either of them. But I think that this would have been a decent ending had we had more time with the two, had they had almost had the happy ending or went around taking the 12 together. But we had so much time wasted throughout this season with a lot of rubbish, to be honest. And it's a real shame that this happened. We never understood the motivation of the 12. The 12 storyline did seem wasted. And we never knew what they were about, other than the fact that they killed people for money. What was their motivations? What was the motivation of this old group who were anarchists turning into assassins? Why did this happen? And it's a real shame here that we never got to know more about that. But the finale, I think, was a shame because the whole season was really, really weak in my eyes. The show is Eve and Villanelle, but it's killing Eve. And at the end, they did kill Eve as she finally learned to love again. And, well, that was that. So this season, it was a bit of a bittersweet end for that. I think a lot of people are going to hate it. I wasn't too thrilled with it. I understand why they did it, but again, it wasn't for me. And with the video, please do. If you dislike the ending, please don't just dislike the video. I have a lot when people just hate women in Doctor Who, and I cover Doctor Who, and people just dislike it. But if you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like down below, and do subscribe with notifications on if you want more from us, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.